Um, the I just you question.
You start cutting a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Can you
No, it's
hear
good.
us?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Yeah.
Okay. Saeed Al Batal is one of the director, and we would like to thank you a lot for this film. And first of all, I ask if there are some questions in the audience. Ci sono domande che si possiamo fare al regista? Qualcuno ce le ha già? O facciamo dire qualcosa a lui prima? Okay. Uh, would you like to say something to us about the film? How you started? Why you started to do this film?
Okay. Let me start by thank you all for gathering today, and I'm really sad I couldn't be there in person. But I'm happy that technology is now developed enough to can break those boundaries, and I'm almost there with you. Why did we start to make this movie? Well, actually, we've been living under a very unusual circumstances in Syria, where revolution was breaking out. For the first time, people are on the street, and for the first time, I can use my cam on the street without being stopped by Secret Service. And I've tried it before revolution. I got stopped a lot. So after revolution, we really practiced a lot with the camera, with the protests. And when the liberation battle arrived after the massacre that you already saw in the beginning of the movie, we had the feeling that this is a very important period of time for the city and for all of my country. So we wanted to preserve it for the future. So maybe can in the future people can look at it and really not just study it as in history books, but really actually watch it. And we started working on a movie that was concerning the Battle of Liberation. That we didn't know we are gonna go from there. We had the high hopes that maybe someday gonna reach Damascus, but things led to another, and situation changed as you saw in the movie, and we didn't stop recording. We didn't stop.
Okay, sorry, Said. I just need to ask if the audience understand what you're saying in English, or do I need to just translate something?
Okay, I will stop every now and then for you to translate. Okay.
È chiaro a tutti o avete bisogno di una traduzione? Va bene così? Ok, allora possiamo proseguire. Ok, the people understand what you're saying, so cool. Okay.
I'm very glad that they are. And just to continue from there, we continue on filming, knowing that we have it's like a big, huge amount of archive and data for future. We didn't know if the future gonna provide us the chance to really work on it. So we keep on filming everything we can to give it as much as wide degree as it possible for anyone who's going to work on it for the future. And we were really fortunate to, after 4 years of shooting, to smuggle out all those materials out to Beirut, and I went personally to Beirut also. And we start working, me and Rias, on the movie in the editing room for 2 years to make the 450 hours, break down the 450 hours down to 2 hours, so you can be capable to live the experience with us. It was very essential. What was driving us all the time was the need for us to tell our story from our perspective, because we have been listening about our story from very different perspectives all the time, and we know that this is a very important period of time for our country. So we wanted to make our statement, and we see in cinema and in art in general as the place where we can really give our statement out to the people, and now it's there in their hands, and it's theirs to judge from now on.
Okay, thank you very much. And I would like to ask you also what kind of work you did with you and all the other people that work in the film. Did you have a different perspective on the film, or also about the situation in Syria? Because you talk a little bit with us, but maybe the audience don't know, and so I wonder what is your point of view, if it's different from the other guys that work with you, or did it converge to a unique point of views? There are contradictions or something else?
Well, actually, behind this film, there's a huge team. There's around a cameraman, and there's two directors, two editors, and two producers, and a whole team. And for 2 years, for example, during if we're gonna talk about editing room, during working on the movie, endless discussion was opened all the time. Everyone have a different opinion about general stuff all the time, but like when you get to a critical position like this, when you are working on a very critical issues, like who have the authorities to use the image, and who is capable of really telling the story, and for every and each scene we have endless discussions that would go for hours to convert it to a version that it is as wide as possible, to leave it without. We wanted a movie that is as much as we can without the propaganda.
Okay.
And without propaganda, that mean also that it's not really easy to achieve. And but with a huge team and all in this conversation, we were working toward a version that would give you a chance to really live the experience, but in the same time leave you a space for you to as an audience to judge on the situation. And I think we managed to do that to a better situation, because the movie is always leaving different point of view after in the audience. Not you would have a different point of view on how do you get this movie. And so in this way, we think that we succeeded in that. If it's not a one-man job, it's a team, and this team was trying his best just to trans reality to into your hands in a way that it's also our what include in it what we think about what is cinema, and what we think it is rules, and what we think is how do you, the authorities of how to use the cam and why to use it, and if is it stable and not stable, and all of that are discussions also to upload it on it in the same time. So this is why it took
Yeah.
us 202 years in the editing room.
Yeah, we understand it, and that's why we appreciate and decided also to distribute the film, because we have an impression of the remarkable artistic way you did, and not only for the social issues. There are both of this kind of thing in the film for us. And now I would like to ask if the audience has some questions to ask to Saeed. Yes, there is one, and
Vuoi fargliela?
Hi, I
That
just want to know, hello, how are you? How do you live your life now, you and your friends?
the struggle continue actually, and we still each every one of us have his own uh, separated path now since 1 year ago. And me and Rias was separated also 2 months ago, and the struggle continue. It's not like there is happy ever after or anything like that. And but like with the continuous of the struggle, we have the same force that driven us during the revolution is still here also, and we are all still connected to each other, even despite the distance. And we each one of us now literally living in a different country, because it's a really hard time for us, and especially after the regime retook Eastern Ghouta completely, the whole area that you watch the movie in it, the regime retook it eventually in 2018, like 6 months from now. And all my friends that was left there have to evacuate to Idlib, and some of them try to smuggle to Turkey, and everyone have had his own unspeakable story that I cannot like shortly tell you all about it. But like what I can tell you is the releasing of the movie helped us in one way or another to get ourselves together, because it showed us that what we did and what we lived wasn't just a complete chaos pointless or kind of stuff that could attack you in your nightmare. But with this simple act as a movie, we managed to find a place where we can feel like we managed to do something. And we hope that this feeling reached to you also as an audience. And I'm really sad that I'm not looking actually to your eyes when I'm saying that, but like maybe some days in the future, chance will happen, and I will be personally there to answer all of your questions. I'm very happy that the movie reached you, and you really managed to capture imagination, even if for 2 hours. I'm so grateful for that, like really.
Thank you.
Ci sono altre domande dal pubblico? Microfono.
Okay, we are just asking if there are some other questions. Okay. Okay. Do you want to speak in English directly or do you want me to translate? Okay. Just wait, Saeed. We are just trying to understand the question. People, she's very moved by the film and. È questa la domanda? Okay. The question is because she's really moved by your situation and what happened in the film, and she's asking if there is a way for you to come here and to right and to travel and be free to travel. What's your situation exactly, or not exactly? What you want to say about these things, because people are concerned about your situation.
Well, when I went out after we finished the movie to go Venice, I was surprised at the airport of Beirut that they stamped a no-return ticket for me. So suddenly, without no planning, without anything, I cannot go back to my home in Beirut anymore. And they didn't say why. Actually, even I have a legal residency, and anyway, but we believe that it's a political matter. Anyway, because of that, now I am in Germany, waiting for some time because until for a period of time, I will not have the ability to travel. Anyway, it's a short period of time, and after it, I'm very happy to come to Milan again and to visit to see you all in person. It's just a matter of months until I fix my papers because of this problem, and then I will be able to travel again.
Thank you, Saeed. And do you have other questions? I don't know your name, but do you have other questions, or was it clear what he said? He said, okay. And okay. Is there anybody else? Yes, there is a guy that would like to ask you some questions.
Hey, I'm Sammy. I'm from Damascus, and it's not really as a question, but yeah, I just want to say that I left Damascus in 2013, 28th of August. So when you were filming from the other side of the Abbasin Square, I lived in Tijara, and I would be on the other side. And this paradox of Damascus and the suburbs of Damascus, of, seeing people who are being invited to the pool in the Sheraton, and then you see the other side, and it's always so moving. And there are so many words in the film about, how you live among the war and how you see things differently. And yeah, I mean, when these things were tackled, they were never answered in the film, and no one can ever answer these things. But yeah, it was one of the things that moved me very much. Yeah, here in Cinema Beltrade, there are a lot of films about Syria, and every time I come here, I spend the entire time crying, of course. Yeah, I mean, I have no question, but I just wanted to say hi.
And hi, my friend. I'm really happy to hear your voice, and sad because I'm not looking at you personally. And I'm also sorry to say use this word, but like I'm also happy that in a way the movie managed to touch you. And this is I'm very happy to hear that from you, because this is also we have lived with doubts for 2 years while we work in the movies, how much we are capable to trans the image as it is while we lived it between two sides, because we managed to have two cams from two sides. So how can we really trans it for someone who didn't live it? And as you said, you can never answer it, because and this is not what we are trying to do. Actually, we're trying more to provoke questions, not a lot more than answering them, because we believe in provoking questions, and enough to a certain point that we would trust the audience to make their own decisions about it. It's always complicated. It's always chaos. This is war, and all movies that we used to see about war always try to organize this war, to have a sense of organization inside it, either fiction or documentary. And we tried as much as we can to avoid that. And I'm really happy to hear that the movie reached out to you. And sorry because you've been spending all the time crying, but like, thank you. I hope those tears are become soon tears of joy. And I hope I see it in Damascus also.
إن شاء الله. شكرا حبيبي. Thanks.
شكرا لك.
C'è qualcun altro qui può supportare il microfono? Se no lo ripasso alla nostra Letizia.
Silvia, vuoi dire qualcosa? Is there anything else that you want to say, particularly about the film, or something else? Because there are no more questions. I would like to talk to you for hours. You know, we met in Rome, and we miss you. And we would like, me and Silvia and all the others would like to have you here, and hopefully you'll come here someday. In the meantime, we'll try to do our best to to screen the film in Italy. And I know I'm very happy to say that your film has been screened several times worldwide, and now you have several screening in different film festival. And I can imagine that the audience in different countries is different, and because of media and because of what's happening in Syria is not clear for us. And I can imagine that each country is different in situation, and maybe you'll have different questions to answer to, and you are aware of that, right? And when you shot the film and when you edit the film, you know that you could reach several different kind of audience, right?
This is what we try to do through our team, and it's true also that because we are trying to talk about different stuff at the same time, and that's why it took us a lot of time, because it took us a lot of time to to find the perfect combination that could have almost all the layers that we've been living in one movie. Because what you have usually you have one or two layers to isolate it, so you can really understand what's happening. And I'm really happy that the movie is getting good screens all around the world. And you cannot imagine. I would love anything more than to be with you doing the tour, and I'm really thankful for the great job that you are doing. And I understand it's a documentary movie, and documentary movie actually don't get that big chance to go to cinemas after festival that much. So you are doing a remarkably great job. So what I also it's also the fight about independent cinema, the cinema that is outside, out of the hand of the big distributing wheels of the market, where they almost control everything. But we sometimes, from time to time, we manage to break through, and I hope that people understand that the more they support independent movies, the more they have a chance to get some things new, and to really know more and more about what's going on here and there, or whatever is the story. Because most of them big machines come with big propaganda also, And I'm really lucky to be have surrounded with all those wonderful people, starting with you, Sylvia, and everyone that's working on the movie now in Italy and back to Beirut, to Germany, and the movie was in Chile and now and in Czech, and now it's gonna be here in Berlin, and then to Vienna for Human Rights Film Festival, and then we don't know to which more festival the movie gonna get accepted to. And you are all right also that different countries would have a different perspective and different audience would have a different perspective on this movie. Like for example, in Chile, they really understand siege on a very deep matter. It seems like Chile and the people of Chile have lived through their history a lot of sieges, and they know what it's like to be sieged, especially with the geographic state of the country where it's so far and so cut away from all the world. So somehow they feel the same siege. So they understand more about hunger and more about siege. So their questions were more focused about what drove you to continue, because we know how exhausted it is to continue during the filming, the more than anything else. That's an example from there. And I'm really happy that we are reaching the movies now. It have his own identity. It's out there. It's our son, but it's not. We don't own it. It's for the people. We did it for the people, and now it's outside for them. They can make the judge that they want out of it. So I don't want to talk more about the movie, but I want to talk more about cinema and the role that cinema can play in society, how we can bring back cinema from entertainment back to become again a place for gathering and discussions, and where you can hear about new ideas, and you can discuss really new ideas in ways that you have never did before. Because I believe this is what cinema is for. It's not for entertainment. It's not for what the commercial world is trying to sell us, and we are just like consuming it. I hope in this fight the struggle gonna continue. So I hope support continue for such an independent story to have their place to tell their story also. I don't know if you all reached you.
Yes, this is very clear, especially because you're talking maybe the most independent and great screen theater in Italy here, the Cinema Beltrade, and I must say that it's one of the really most independent, and so we are very happy that we started the distribution here, and so these kind of words are reaching us because you're talking to the right people. And I wanted to tell you that because you don't know, you cannot see the screening, but we'll send you pictures and explain you better. And there is a question. Okay, great.
We were just wondering if do you have any future projects you're working on in films or right now, or you're thinking about, because this is the limbo of coming to Europe of Syrians, because I've been here for 5 years and I have no idea still what I'm doing or what I will be doing. So yeah, it's just in my.
It's a very big question, especially that we just finished on a 7 years project, but our team is big. It's just not just me and Rias, and especially Rasul, and the cameraman that participated. Each one of them is like, for example, Milad is doing his own short movies. He had been two, and he's doing the third one. And Rafat and Bukinan that you shot in the last scene, for example, working on
Excuse
new.
me, we don't hear you very well. Maybe you are a bit beside the microphone. I don't know.
Can you hear better now?
Yes, yes.
Was I'm trying to say, like, Milad is doing his own short movies now and he's thinking about a long one. Abu Kinan and Rafat is trying to make their first short documentary. Taim, which is another cameraman in the movie, is working on his first movie. So you can see through the movie and what's really actually happening, and you can see it also in the movie how we are transforming from an activist to a media person to eventually a cameraman and then eventually a director. You can see that in during the movie, especially that this movie got directed by the people that are also involved in the shooting during all the time. So it's also happening now to the rest, to the other people in the group, and they are working on their stories. Me and Rias, we just finished this movie, like literally 1 week before Venice. So to be honest with you, we didn't really start thinking about the next project yet, but we know that the next project is going to be about cinema, and we know that it's either going to archive or not archive. It's gonna be another challenge because we know from firsthand how brutal could be the process of making a movie, but we also know that it is worth it. And I mean worth it because the journey, as much pain that it carry with it, it's also carrying a satisfaction from the real satisfaction when you are feeling that you are doing something that you really into and something that it's really touching people. So about the limbo, I think we have been always living in a limbo during shooting the movie. The limbo they're talking about, what no, they don't know what to do during shooting the movie and during editing the movie, and now after the movie, there's always a back sound on our head screaming at what are you doing. Um, I think it's the echo of the war, because with the war you have always nihilism growing inside you, because you see how easy things can be broken and how easy life can be lost, and so you can always get to always ask yourself what's worth out of it. We managed to escape this question with having a guide. This guide is always was and during making of the movie and also doing everything we do is the children of tomorrow, because even if you lost hope in the society of today, there's always children of tomorrow. So at least you can work for them, and working toward them is what we try to do through the movie. This is why we try to reach as wide audience as we can, and because we actually are aiming about people who didn't even live the story, didn't even been there, and we are trying to the lessons that we learn, simply that because we believe that we as a human beings, we do wrongs, we do good, but we learn from our mistakes, and to learn from our mistake we should first not forget, and second have a chance to analyze all of it. So I don't know if that answered you. I'm really happy to all there, and I wish I can come back to the same city and we can meet all together. And I don't know what else to say.
You say a lot, and we thank you. We are very touched by what you say. And
Thank you, like
is there,
really, thank you.
is there any other question, or we can say hi to Saeed? Let me know. Just wait a second, Saeed. Is there?
Take your time.
Okay. Everybody is saying hello to you, and we're really thankful. And this is, hope you can hear it. This is for you and for you and everybody who work in the film. Thank you very much, Saeed, and we will talk to you very soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And tomorrow in Rome, remember, you have another screening in Skype. Okay. Thank you, Saeed. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you so much.
Bye. Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao from Milan. Ciao. Ciao. Ciao.
Bye.